Hey there, this is Chris here, and I do layman tech reviews on gadgets, especially cameras and its accessories, or anything that makes my life easier as a parent of 3 young kids. As you know, being a parent of 3 kids, I tend to take lots of photographs, and the camera of choice is this, Fuji X100V. I also have Ricoh GR3X for non-action, non-moving type scenes, street photography type things. I also have the Sony A6600, but it's kind of bulky to carry around. So my everyday carry, if you ask me, would be this X100V. If I want something even smaller, I have the Ricoh GR3X, and I also have the Fujifilm X70. I actually also have the XF10, Fujifilm XF10. But they're all fixed lens camera. This is a 35mm equivalent in full frame. The X70 is about 28mm, I believe, and the XF10 is 23mm, I believe, and the Ricoh GR3X is 40mm. They are fixed lens. I have the teleconversion of this that you can adapt to it, which makes it into a 50mm camera, and I also have the wide angle one that makes it into a 28mm camera. But as you all know, the adapted lenses on this would make the X100V kind of bulky. So what made me buy this? Focus, focus, focus. So this is the Fujifilm X-A5, a very, very entry-level camera. And I got this used in the used market. It's fairly new, as in low shutter count, but I think it's already about 2 to 3 years old. The X-A5 is probably the lowest entry level camera for the X series, along with the XF10. The XF10 is fixed lens. This is an interchangeable lens camera, so I can change lenses with this. Let me put down the X100V. I got this used for about $250 US. Fairly cheap, very good condition, as new. It came with the kit lens, the 15 to 45mm f3.5 lens. Came with 2 batteries, fortunately. Came with this nice, see that? Came with this nice hot shoe cover, original one, which makes it very nice. X-A5, I've been trying it for about a couple of days now. It has all the film simulations that you would need, except for chrome negative. And it doesn't have some of the bells and whistles of the XE series or the XT series or even the X100 series. So any film simulations that you do on this you only have a choice to do it once. There's no custom settings, there's no memory, there's no recipes for you to cook and store into the memory. So whatever settings you have would be used for all shots. You cannot easily change into different recipes. You would have to always change the settings on the camera every time you want to try out different recipes. You have to change the highlight tones, shadow tones. It does not have clarity, but it allows you to change sharpness, I think color, highlight and shadows, and the noise reduction. Alright, so back to why did I get this? It's really because I wanted to try different focal lengths on this. And I didn't want to blow my budget. This would be the cheapest entry-level Fujifilm X camera that I can afford. Build quality wise, handling wise is alright. Build quality, fairly plasticky. So if you are really finicky, or you would like to have something that is very robust, something that feels good in hand, this is not the camera. It's very plasticky. Fake leather, plastic build. It's light though, the lens sharp, but very plasticky also. It's very compact, so if you turn it on, it would extend that way. So compared to Canon, things about the same size as the kit lens compared to Sony. Sony ones is Sony one is definitely smaller. This one's alright. The other thing that you need to know is that it doesn't have the normal, it has the PASM type dial. It does not have your shutter, it does not have your ISO, it does not have your, actually just this ISO and your shutter dials. Instead, you still have your exposure compensation dial here, so that's good, and you have another rear dial here. There's no front dial, so you can't do that, but there's a rear dial. So definitely lacks in dials and buttons for sure, but it's functional. The other thing to note is that it's fairly loud compared to the X100V, which has a leaf shutter, fairly silent. X70, X10, fairly silent. This, for an interchangeable lens camera, it's pretty loud. You know, if I were to compare it against Canon or Sony, this is, have a listen. Fairly loud. It does have an electronic shutter though, so if you want to be stealth, just turn on electronic shutter, that will help. Alright, slow in autofocus? Yes, it's slow in autofocus, but that's not the main reason why I got this. Main reason why I got this is because I wanted to try different focal lengths, and I wanted to try vintage lenses on this. Vintage lenses like the Helios 44 and also the Pentax Takumar series. I have two of these. One is the f1.8 version and the other one is the f1.4 version. And I have here adapted using the Zhongyi Lens Turbo 2, which is a speed booster for the Fuji system. So this effectively has a focal multiplier of 0.71, I think. So if you put it on the APS-C, camera, effectively, if this is a 50mm, you times 1.5 crop factor for the Fujifilm, and you times 0.7 from the speed booster, and you effectively have a 50mm. It becomes a 54mm lens on the Fuji APS-C sensor. So 50mm focal length is pretty nice to do portrait shots, family shots, so that's why I wanted to try it. I know the X100V I have the telephoto adapted lens, making it into 50mm, but vintage, come on, you just have to try it. So the only thing about the vintage lens is that coupled with the speed booster and fairly light plasticky body, this would make the camera fairly front heavy. So you just have to take note of that. And the grip here, pretty small, so you just have to use two hands to carry it. So handling wise, it's not so great, but it's the cheapest option. Allows you to adapt multiple type lenses, either native Fujis or vintage lenses. I have 50mm, 58mm, 28mm, 135mm, so I have a whole wide array of lenses that I can try on the Fuji, and I really love the film simulations here. Alright, probably make another video of the types of photos that I can get out of this. Till then, take care and God bless.